Waheguru, hello, out there.
From in here.
From we're not at Wave Street Studio. We're at Peace of Temple Abode
We're boating.
in Monterey. And tonight's going to be a sort of a short class because it's not a full class, so it's a short class.
Sound like Trump there.
That's
It's the best class.
I thought
Big class,
I
but
couldn't
it's
go any
short.
further. This is really good. It's really special. It's the best thing you've ever seen. And it has to do with lots of money. Yeah. So this is sort of a class that we didn't do because of technical problems last week about faith in the world of Tantra as opposed to faith. I believe that I'm going to pick up that car out there with my one finger. Not that kind of faith. But faith in the sense of once you take the step past basic Kundalini core foundations and you step over the line into Tantra. Tantra means there's no more of this one without a second. And this, I won't say it's childish, but it was necessary in the beginning, but there's a time to step over the edge where we have to quit looking at this all powerful God that's going to give us all this stuff. In Tantra, you have to make the decisions because you cross the line into energy. When you cross the line in the scriptures, they've got the explanations of all the faith and the stories and learning the discipline, and then something happens, and they call it shunyata in Tantra. And it means one without a second. So the language in the scriptures changes. There's no me here talking to God out there or God out there talking to me here. There's the idea of oneness or energy. So the scriptures change to just talk about energy. Energy implies that now you have to make a decision because no matter what you're doing, you're moving energy. So when we're moving energy, you're either going to do it consciously or unconsciously. So decisions have to be made of what your choice is to do with that energy. So, I chose one of the most famous Kriyas. I know everybody's going out there because of all the things that have happened in 3HO lately. They're going through a lot of stuff in their head about should I use Kriyas or are we going to just throw all this stuff out? This has to go back with the original idea of faith. So faith in Tantra does not mean imagining something that you hope is going to happen. Faith in when you're dealing with just pure energy that you yourself are moving out of you has to do with focus. In other words, you choose a vector of where you're going to put your energy and what for. And then faith would be, in the sense of Tantra, would be not allowing the mind to wander away from the purpose of what you're going to do the Kriya for. To set the purpose is very important, because I see a lot of people still in sort of a magical way of thinking of I'm going to do this set formula, and then the heavens are going to open up and it's just all going to pour on me. So there's sort of like holding on to this old attachment to the dreaded Gambu, out there, who just controls everything. And if you
He's coming too.
if you haven't acted
Don't
like
forget
Santa
it.
Claus wants you to act, it's not happening. But if you have prepared the mind to focus and to create a vector, that takes care of the whole problem of faith. Because in yoga, you're supposed to concentrate. I had this famous teacher who used to come to Memphis, little tiny guy, and Swami Vishvayogi, full of energy. And I remember one class he came, and all the big teachers from the South had come to see him, and one guy who had been coming to Kundalini classes forever, and he just wasn't quite getting it. He gave the question. He says, Swami, we've been doing these classes for a long time, and I don't feel like I'm really getting everything that should happen to me. He says, so tonight, can you really give us the secret? The secret, the special lock that unlocks the whole thing, the whole Kriya.
Decoding ring.
And Swami looked at him like he was absolutely nuts. Like, the secret is concentrate. He said, concentrate. Work hard. That's the secret. So in our class, concentration and working hard is not allowing the mind to wander once you're packing it up with loading it with energy. And we're not going to do a full-on a class and raise the Kundalini for this. Move it through the body, all that kind of stuff. But once you've done that, and once you've invoked Ad Gure Name, you set your intention, this is the way I want to go. Nothing should move you from that. Your intention is, it's like you are the compass needle. Your intention is north. It's always, the mind is going to wave. And we learned all these tricks, to keep the mind steady. But they're all just tricks if you haven't set the mind in the beginning with the intention. And that's sort of a mistake I see people make. So we're going to start off with the famous Subha Kriya. And I'm just going to say I think that everybody has to go through what they have to go through concerning the Kriyas and stuff. But it's what you bring to it that's going to make it work or not work. That's why we talk about the steadiness of intention, especially when you're working with energy, when you have really realized the impact of Sat Nam, to even consider that I am a part of the truth. I am truth. What happens comes through me, is part of truth. That's not a magical formula. It's not a tattoo you put on. It's a realization that you are part of the universe and you're moving intention and you're moving energy. So the biggest mistake that I see people make when it comes to manifestation is they do it kind of like in a whiny way. What am I going to get? I'm going to do this formula and then it's all going to pour out on me. What can I get? I want abundance. I want wealth. And you see people obsessed by it and checking on it and worrying about it. The difference in Tantra and the proper way to go do a Kriya is a compression of time and space. Time and space are infinite. So you say, okay, we're going to do this for 11 minutes, 12 minutes, 30 minutes or something. It's a compression. You're putting yourself in a compression chamber and you're deciding to hold this energy in and cook it. Heat it up, keep it compacted, and then you stick it somewhere. You give it a purpose. But in the beginning, if you haven't set your trajectory and the proper hierarchical sequence of entities doing this, and you should start off with Sat Nam. You're the one who's doing it. It's something that comes out of you. You don't like abuse your energy all through the week and let it slide all over the place and let your mind, slime the room you're in and all the things that can go on with the mind, especially at this time. And focus it into this pressure cooker that brings up, pressure is going to build up and kick up the subconscious. It's going to bring up issues. So if you're not aware of those issues beforehand, you're not going to fall into the right pattern. You're not going to create something. You're going to be stuck in hope and hope for something to happen. In other words, that it's not up to you, that it's some kind of hit or miss thing, that there's all kinds of elements and reasons out there in the world that could control all this stuff that you're doing and happening to you or happening for you. And really you don't have a center of it because you haven't started with Sat Nam. You are the truth. You are the truth deciding to do something with energy, and then that's your faith. That's your focus. That faith and focus has to be there all the time. When you're doing kriyas and dealing with energy, and you're stepping over this line of tantra, because when you build up that energy fast, using heat and using the different pranayamas, it can take off. And like I say, kriyas sometimes don't feel good. That's not the reason for a kriya. A kriya is to bring up awareness of what's there. So a lot of times people will do like a simple kriya like breath of fire, and it brings up blockages in places that don't feel real good. That means you're doing it right. The purpose is to see what's there. By seeing, you will change it. So you don't try and change it in the class per se. You just see, okay, this is what it feels like. I got a blocked up arm. By seeing that, you wouldn't normally see it if you didn't do the kriya and you didn't put yourself in the time. Like, okay, I'm going to do this 12 minutes. It's going to hurt. You wouldn't, if you didn't set the time and space. Most people, when they start to hurt, they'll stop. But when you know that it's going to bring up discomfort, that's the reason you set yourself in this time and space, is to bring up all this stuff. In this kriya, there's not a lot. You should have already considered, all the blockages in the subconscious, why you feel you're not going to get enough. Fear of lack. Thought forms. So in today's world, everybody's worried about their money. Everybody's turned into beggars and waiting for the government to give them, $1,200. Becoming slave for that. And to receive a check with somebody's name on it. There's all kinds of psychic stuff and implications going on that you need to be clean of, separate from. That's why we start off with Adgure Name. We're going to the source in yourself, Sat Nam. Adgure Name was always there. That has to be steady for you. That's how these kriyas work. Is intention. Now, there's a beautiful saying in the Christian path where Jesus is talking about the faith of a mustard seed. If you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. But one of the most important sayings is he has is when you pray feeling the joy, feeling the emotion that you have what it is that you're asking for. That's a very important component of getting this energy ready to cook and go out and manifest. If you start off with like, okay, I'm just going to do this trick and I hope it's going to work, or maybe it won't, you're not going to cut it. That stuff should have been taken care of before we cross over Shunyata into Tantra. Those questions and those doubts, you don't bring that to this class. The internal dialogue should already happen before the class starts. So, advanced Tantra, and you find this very, not so much in the Hindu path, but in the Buddhist path, is acting. Acting is a sacred craft. And I'm talking about acting like when you meet a really good actor and you see them in their role, they become that person. They become that person. The higher, we call them higher yogas, higher Tantra yogas, are all based upon this acting. In other words, you don't wait for something on the outside to bring up this joy of having. It doesn't depend on anything on the outside. So what they're saying is when you do the Kriya, pray feeling you already have it. You act. Obviously you don't. Okay, you go outside and your car is broken down and you're lacking things, and then that picture of our reality sets our mind, and you think, okay, I'm just going to imagine I'm rich and I'm happy, and that's all a big fantasy. No, it's not. It's sacred acting, and it's how you move the energy, and that's the commitment and the focus and the faith, is to not let the energy swerve from that. So that's the big mistake I see people make when they do Subha. They think, okay, I'm going to do this magical formula. I'm going to invoke the Jupiter energy and the sun and the moon energy inside myself, and that's going to open up some big hole, and then dollars are going to drop down. It's beautiful. You're going to love it. It's the best thing you've ever had happen to you. No.
Well, it could. You never know.
It could, but I don't know. Hey, if you find a class like that, I'll go. So the way they make this work is you have to start with the idea that wealth is not something that you get. It's something that you give. Your wealth is what you give. If you're trying to get, then you're always whining. You're starting off with it's never enough. And what they're saying in this Kriya is you start off with Satnam. I have everything. And when you're doing the Hara, first of all, you're invoking one of the sacred names of God. So you're bypassing the whole bogus thought forms that are in the world. That's really what you're doing, is you're spreading that out and you're creating your own space. Okay, I have a right to my own reality here. Many people have said that, many famous people have said that, and that didn't turn out too well. But that's why we start with Adgare Name. So when you're doing your Hara, you're not calling in wealth, hoping more wealth is going to come, hoping my bills are going to be taken care of. What you're doing is it's an explosion of energy that comes out of you, comes through you and out of you. into your environment. So you're giving that wealth. You are all wealth, and you're giving it out to your environment. You're giving it to your friends. You're giving it to people across the world. I do a meditation where I like to go down to the center of the earth. And I'm doing that down there. I'm releasing this energy, and it's this, ha, ha, ha. It's like an explosion, a bomb that goes, pew, pew, pew. You're spreading energy out. Your Jupiter and your moon, you're releasing that energy inside your own psyche and moving it out into the world to give. That's the difference. That will set the key, to opening up all the locks which are inside yourself. So the lock is because we keep trying to get, and the key is start giving. Start thinking of that. If you're doing bad and you're poor and you're hard making your rent and stuff, it's kind of hard to make that leap. People call, I'm just using my imagination. But remember, that's advanced yoga. So start with that. Start with that idea of giving. It's a celebration. Bam, 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 like you're a big lightning rod blasting off energy into the environment with enthusiasm and excitement, because you feel all this wealth coming out of you. You know, because that's what energy does. Everything we do is with energy. So we're either going to choose to do it consciously or we're going to do it unconsciously. We're going to sit here and go, God, I'm going to wait for my $1,200, check signed by my president, or we can say, all right.
Direct deposit.
Direct deposit.
We'll take it from the source.
Yeah. So we got the direct deposit, and then we're going, we're the ones who are giving the direct deposit to everybody else. Get that straight. Get that straight. Without that, this won't work. Very little of the energetic yogas which happen later after we move all the energy through the body, we open up the body. This is basic form of Kundalini. But then once everything is open, you've got much more energy, and then you have to be much more careful what you do with your thoughts. We take it back to the sacred name, Hara, Hari. But when you do when you chant it like that, Hara, it comes out Hara, not Hari. So the form again is this. Here's the technical part of it. I swear to you, this works. Every time I need money, for bizarre things that I have to go do or want to go do, I get it. If I want money to go buy a Cadillac, I don't get it. But if I want to go around the world and set up, some big bizarre thing that's impossible to do, it just comes from every place. Because it has to. You're in a situation, you put yourself in situations that look impossible. That's what invokes, that steady faith and energy is what invokes. I don't care what's happening out there. I don't care what it looks like. The only thing that matters when you're doing a Tantra Kriya is what's in your mind's eye and what's in your heart. So you start out with the intention to give. So I don't normally do this for worrying about wealth and stuff. I do it because I love what it does. It sets off a frequency that I use before all the other meditations. So go hara, 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 hara. It's banging on the head inside the skull. And it's very powerful. It's kind of like, look what you're doing. You imagine, first of all, your eyes are turned down at your nose. You have to understand the reason of that is because you want to take the focus of your eyes from out in the world and focus inside. So that's the first technique is that people do, is that our energy usually follows our eyes. So it's very strange to turn your eyes down to your nose, but concentrate here. So that separates this inner vision of all your awareness following your eyes. And you're short-circuiting, the eyes are turned down here, but you're imagining up here. That's what opens up the inner vision. That's what you want there, the inner vision. So, hara, hara, you're looking down here, hara, hara. It separates the eyes from vision. But now we're going for an inner vision. You'll see when you turn your eyes down like that, there's a stress behind the eyeballs. It pulls the muscles in a certain way. All that is locked up with the tensions we go through the day and weeks and months, and it gets locked up in the chemistry and the muscles of the face and the eyes and the head. So that's all you have to do is get that energy moving. That's the first thing you do, is to separate those two, the outer vision from the inner vision. That's the basic technique. Your eyes go one place, your attention somewhere else. It causes a tension in here. That's what I mean by Kriya sometimes does not feel good. But you do that and you feel it and you keep doing it over a period of days and it just breaks up. Once that tension back behind the eyes and behind the actual muscles of the eyeballs, once that opens up and it all relaxes, you'll feel it all relax, that's when the inner vision opens up. The next thing is the hara. So I like to visualize hara. Hara, when you say it, you're in an automatic smile. Hara, hara. A smile, hara, hara. Remember, you're supposed to be happy because you just got so much wealth that you're giving it out to everybody else, right? So hara, hara. This was the famous saying out of, the old style yoga class. If you can't make it, fake it. So
Can't fake it, make it.
yeah. That means that's the acting. Hara, 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 man. Everything is good. Hara, hara, just flowing and giving it out. Hara, hara. Even if, the windows are broken and the rain's coming in the house. Hara, hara. Sacred acting. You have to bring your emotions to it. Emotionally feel the joy of it. So when you're saying hara, Matt, you've got your pituitary gland here, back in here. It's like a little ball that kind of hangs down. There's a space around it. So when you're hara, 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 you're automatically smiling. That means you're opening up all these muscles in the face and behind the eyes. And it actually opens that cavity, that space, and makes more room where that pituitary hangs down. So I imagine it's like a boxing bag. Punching bag, and I'm using the hara, hara. You get the hara, 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 hara. And it's like boom, boom. I'm hitting that bag. Hara, 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 hara. With this smile, it's opening up this chamber. This thing's hanging down. It's going boing and bang, 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 and you get that moving, and the inner vision opens up. And what's going to happen is whatever you see, whatever you have set the intention to see. So I do this, imagine in a sphere, I'm in a ball, and I'm this lightning bag, and I'm hara, and there's just crack of energy going out. Hara, hara, hara. Remember how, if you haven't done this before, you have no idea what I'm talking about? Neither do I. So, hara, hara, hara. You're doing your hands. This is your moon mound. This is Jupiter. So you're banging the left. The right thumb goes underneath the left, and you're banging this meridian here, and these meridians here. Eyes are looking down at the nose. Hara, hara. You're in this big ball, and so it's this flash of energy going, and you're giving. How to kind of exaggerate that smile, and with the idea that I'm giving out. Okay? All right, before we get started in this,
We start it?
huh?
We're just going to start it? No, before we get started.
Yeah.
It's pre-start.
I don't even have my timer.
Life
Yeah.
is hard. So, best guess. How long you want to go for? I'll tell you the time.
We're gonna do the whole thing. Man.
31 minutes?
No,
What do you
11 minutes.
think?
So, you know, he was given 11 minutes, but I do 12 minutes.
Might you do 13? Who knows?
Bigger, better. Now you know who said 11 minutes. So I think, what was the saying? If you do more than 11 minutes, it's just downright greed. So I'm going for the downright greed. I'm going to do 12 minutes.
Give us 13.
13 would be too much.
Never too much.
It's the point that I'm making. You know, it's not the time. Although that
She's on the timer.
all right, you're gonna give me finger signals and stuff. All right, first we're gonna get ready and just get some energy moving in the belly first.
We know this.
Okay. Breath of fire. Remember, we do breath of fire a little different. We start with the sphere. Imagine being in the sphere and pumping the navel. The idea is agitate the energy around you, get it moving. And sometimes if I do a lot of minutes, I throw in shaking the arms and hands. So the idea is you're in a sphere and you're agitating the energy, getting it moving, but the center's the navel. The center stays still. So get the feeling of energy moving through your body and all around you, but there's this absolute stillness in the center of your belly. The sphere goes underneath the ground, and as we build up the breathing, the energy is going to build up in the sphere. We'll start with that. Because when you're doing hara, you're doing it from the belly too. So you want to pack some energy in there. You pack some energy in there, and oh yeah, I'm going to quit talking. These guys are already starting. Okay. Begin to focus the mind, your intention. Remember, you're not just blowing air around. The reason we start with pranayama is so everybody gets the idea very viscerally. That everything you need is given to you. It's given. You came into this world, you started breathing, the perfect mixture of oxygen and all the different gases. That was all just there for you. So all the elements that we need to do whatever we need to do here, we have them, they've been given. Our job is to focus them and put them into practice. Give them an intention. Faith, meaning don't let the opposite of what you're trying to create come into your mind. There's a time for that, but not in the tantric kriya. So each breath you're taking in fresh, brand new life force. Came right out of the universe. Each moment the universe renews itself freshly. We can either relate to the past, what has happened in the past, or we set our mind right in the beginning to focus on the brand new. That the universe is offering brand new energy, brand new ideas, brand new inspiration, and it's up to you to make the choice to tune into that. And by saying that I said when I do meditations, I meditate, I convince myself that I'm going to die in 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes to accomplish what I'm going to accomplish. You know, to open that door and feel like it's done. That's the sincerity and the intensity you want to bring to any kriya, any prayer. Especially pranayama. Communicating with life force that feeds everything on this planet. It's a big, big energy. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, fresh prana, fresh life force. Hold, close your sphincter, pull it up to your navel. Imagine pushing the diaphragm down. You got one force going up, one force going down. Meets right behind the belly button. Inhale more. Let the body move or shake if it wants. Concentrate, don't let the mind wander. You're building up a charge. When the mind wanders, you're losing that charge. Inhale more. Let the body move, relax. And exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, grab your front shin. Still in your sphere. Let's do a real simple spine flex. Get the energy moving in the inner spine. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Same thing. Taking in fresh, brand new life force on each breath. Inhale. Same thing. Close your sphincter, pull it up, diaphragm down. Two forces meet right behind the belly button. Inhale more. Fresh prana, fresh energy, fresh inspiration, gift right out of the universe. Half each moment. Inhale more. Let the body shake or move. Inhale more. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Shoulder shrugs. Still in your sphere, no thinking, containing the energy, building up a charge. Inhale, squeeze up, hands come up. Again, breath of fire, shake the arms. Vigorously shake the arms, shoulders. Inhale. Squeeze up. Exhale down. Drop your head down. Inhale up to the right. Exhale down the left. Imagine somebody standing over you trying to pick you up by your head and moving your head for you. Full, complete breath. Let the shoulders drop. Stay relaxed. Head up to center. The opposite direction now. Full, complete breath. Imagine that person moving your head for you, trying to pick you up off the ground. Head up to center. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Legs come out. Spread your toes, and then just for a couple minutes bang your legs on the ground. Let your toes loose. Just like you were moving your arms, do that with your legs now. Inhale. Toes are back. Exhale down the legs. Imagine your legs are hollow and you're exhaling down. Take another breath in your belly. Exhale down the legs and out the feet. And slowly come sitting up again. Okay, that's the most basic prep class you can do. Yoga is opening the 5 limbs, 2 arms, 2 legs, and the head. And so you can do that in all kinds of different ways. You don't have to do all the fancy postures. You just set the intention to get the flow opening, and then that, with the breath starts to take out the stale energy that we carry from our environment and stuff. You don't want any of that in your temple, in your space. We created that temple in the beginning. Adgade Name, Jugadgade Name. That sets the intention, that clears the space, that tells us why we're here. Now to the Kriya. So once everything's flowing and going, and now we have the Kriya. Get that fresh energy come up, and we're going to bang on that little boxing bag there. Okay, remember all the points. Eyes are looking down. The reason for that is to open the third eye. Remember, so your eyes are looking down, but your attention is at the third eye point. In between, notice how your mouth and your cheeks form like a smile when you say Hara. So try and exaggerate that a little, and you're going to do this for 11 minutes plus 1 blasphemous minute at the end there. And
remember, from a single cell, here we are.
yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah, the single cell. No, it has to be like that. Bindu. It's like bring it down to a point and then boom, release it. So we just cleared out all the stuff we don't need. Now we're going to create what it is we do need. Okay, eyes are here. Focus is here. Hara. Remember that little pituitary gland hanging down? It looks exactly like a boxing bag. It's on a stem and a little ball over there. And when you're smiling, it opens up that channel and it actually loosens it up. So the vibration, it's like bing, 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 bing. And pretty soon, like the whole inside of the brain will start to turn. Well, mine's turning purple, so whatever's yours turning, write us a letter, let us know.
Mine is blue.
What's your turning?
Blue.
Blue. Yeah, we like it, yes.
It's sort of like pink, but that doesn't sound manly enough.
All right. Remember, you're giving out. It's an explosion of energy. of joy, of giving to your people and your family and the friends around you and all the people who are worried about all these things. They don't have time to do this. And how many people sit there and bang on their hands and say heart anyway? So it's a very special thing. And you can affect a lot of people. All right? Set for the timer up? Okay. Get inside your sphere and start sending out this electricity. Jupiter and Moon is the most luck. Moon is grounded. It's your family. It's practical stuff of living in the world. And Jupiter is just expansive luck, all the good stuff in it. You're bringing that energy. You're not invoking it. You're releasing it. We're part of the planets. The planets are part of us. All these big parts of ourselves that we have that we can use to move big amounts of energy. That's what this is. That's what we're learning. With faith. There's another saying in the Christian scriptures. God, I'm going Christian tonight. But it's good. It's a tantric saying, you know. Well, I just forgot it, so.
Well, when I see two words together, Christian and tantric, there's a little bit of space. But I like it. Space.
Well, just because of that, I'm going to try and remember it now. Okay, the big one was pray believing you have it. Not just believing, but feeling you have it. Like, I'm joyous I have it. I have that Cadillac. Right? Okay. 11 minutes and 1 blasphemous minute. Hada, 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 hada. Eyes are looking down at the nose. Hada, 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 hada. Send it out to the world. Hada, hada, hada. Hada, 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 hada. Hada, 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 hada. Be aware of what the mind's doing all the time. Don't let the mind wander all over the place. Hada, Eyes are looking down. Focus. Hara, Inhale. Exhale. Breathe normally. Keep the slight smile on the face. Feel the buzzing of energy through the entire body. The hands. Relax the jaw. Feel that energy going through you. Universe gives to you. Now you give it back out to the world. Remember, your wealth is what you give, not what you get. Okay, come lying on your backs. We'll allow this to sink in a little. Relax the body. Let the sound move through the body.
Kundalini Mata Shakti. 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 Namo. Namo.
Begin to move your toes and your fingers. And rotate your ankles and your wrist. Rub your hands together, rub the bottom of your feet together. Bring your knees up and rock on your spine, and then slowly come sitting up. Last most important part, which we've just been doing. The universe gives to us, we give back out. Any blessings we've been given here tonight, we now share with everybody. We send it out to the world, to our friends, people we know who are sick, people who are killing themselves over the stress of what to do, all that stuff. We just created an energy that will help balance all that, to bring it into the gift. Once the mind, you're out of the thinking mind, you're surrounded by a giving, a living, breathing, loving universe that gives everything. It's all outside the worries of the mind. There's amazing things being given to us, and amazing things happen all over the place. Exchange of oxygen. There's whales making love at the bottom of the ocean. There's miracles all over the place. So the important thing is what you do with your mind, okay? And right now, any benefit, any gift we've been given in this class, we send back out to the world on this song. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way From our place of power in the now, we make a bridge into the past of our own lives and the past of this planet. Understand that everything that happened has brought us to where we are today. And with any gifts we've been given here tonight, we look back into the past and we bless it. The long Satnam. Inhale. Sa.
So,
From our place of power in the now, we spread our aura out into the world, and we share any energy we've been given here tonight with the people we share this planet with karmically, and the beings and the animals, the creatures. We channel this hara, this light, to each and every being. Inhale. From our place of power in the now, we make a bridge into the future, and we see our children and our children's children, for as many generations as we can see. With any grace we've been given tonight, we send it down to them, letting them know to be fearless, revengeless, and that all things are possible. Inhale. And relax. Waheguru. Thank you for being here with us. And remember, when you do that at home, ask yourself the question in the beginning. The way you become aware of what's going on is you ask yourself, how much time was I focused, and how much time was my mind wandering? And you'll see, if you ask yourself that question every day as you do that, you'll see very quick, in a matter of days, the mind will settle down and it'll focus, and it'll stay in that frequency. It won't be wandering out all over the place. So the idea is to ask yourself that question and see what's there. What kind of thoughts were there? The thoughts of like, does this really work? And is this, that kind of stuff. There's a place for those kind of doubts and those questionings, but when you're doing these kriyas, shoot first, think later. That's the mantra for dealing with discursive mind, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. See you next time.
Well, thank you.